guys, it's really nice of you that you popped into my channel. Today, as you can see on my board, lies a nice piece of pork tenderloin, and I'm planning to show you how to prepare it with some mushroom and whiskey sauce. So first thing when it comes to preparing your pork loin is getting rid of all of this white membrane, and be careful while doing it. Use a sharp knife, but make sure you don't cut yourself and you don't cut too deep to the meat as well. So let's get started. So now our pork tenderloin is nice and clean, and we are going to portion it. We are going to cut about 2 centimeter thick pieces out of it, just like that. To make our tenderloin even more tender, we are going to squeeze it a little bit. Just like that. Put it into our bowl. Don't squeeze it too hard, you just want to flatten it a little bit like that. That's our pork ready for the next step. So now our pork tenderloin needs a little bit of marinade, and we are going to make very simple marinade, just salt, pepper and some paprika, and that's gonna be it. Freshly ground black pepper, good amount of salt, I'd say about a teaspoon of sweet paprika, and some oil to make it easier to marinate. So now let me quickly massage spices in. Make sure that every piece is evenly coated with the spices. And now we're going to put it aside while preparing the rest of the ingredients. If you can give it a little bit more time to marinate, and go ahead. You can marinate it in the morning or day before and let it sit for a night in the fridge. But I think that it doesn't need as much marination, so I'm gonna leave it just for a few minutes while preparing the rest and cleaning myself and the workspace. So as you can see, I've changed my board, I've changed my knife. It's really nice to have separate board for preparing raw meat, just to be sure. And now I'm going to prepare the rest of my ingredients. Here I have 250 grams of chestnut mushrooms. I think that they are slightly better, they slightly have deeper flavor than just white button mushrooms. But if you have white button mushrooms, they're going to be good as well. So that's what I've got at the moment. And I have I'd say smallish onion and cloves of garlic, and I need to chop all of it now. They're on the smallish side, so I'm gonna just eat them, I think. Yeah, just cut them in eighths. If you have bigger mushrooms, you can slice them if you wish to. I'm keeping the stalks on. So now I'm going to chop my onion in very tiny dice, as thinly as I can. So, mushrooms chopped, onions chopped, now there's everything prepared, we can start frying. So on my pan I have a little bit of oil heating up. It's on medium heat, you don't want the oil to be too hot because we do want to sear the meat, but we don't want to burn the spices that are covering our meat, so medium high, I'd say. And let us quickly sear the meat. You want to turn the meat just when it's cooked on the one side. You don't want to cook it for too long because it is going to cook a little bit longer in a sauce, so it doesn't have to be cooked through. But you do want to close all the pores from the outside of the meat. So now on the same pan we can throw in our onions. And I'm going to give them just a pinch of salt so they don't burn and they release some juices. And just give them a few minutes. Now we can add our mushrooms in and our garlic as well. Now make sure you are frying your onions, not stewing them, because if you do, they will release too much of the liquids and you'll get soggy mess instead of nice and fried mushrooms. So when our mushrooms are nice and golden brown, we are going to put our meat back on. Arrange it all over the pan, and now it's the fun part. We need to pour our whiskey in and make it burn. And that's all the alcohol gone now, but there is still a smell in the air. Now let's give it a little bit more salt, just a touch, a little bit more pepper, and cream. Just let me reach to the fridge. going to add about 30 milliliters of double cream inside. That should be it. Oh, I wish you guys could smell it. I'm going to lower the heat now. And let it cook like that for a few minutes until the sauce reduces and the meat is done. And this is how our pork loin looks. Amazing, don't you think? Remember to give it a little bit of stir and turn your meat around just to make sure that it's all covered in the sauce. So I don't know how about you, but I'm going to dive in, guys. Oh my god, this is really delicious. The whiskey is more of an aroma than a flavor, but you can definitely tell that it's inside. The sauce is nice and creamy. Well, I think that pork tenderloin is one of my favorite pieces of meat because it's so fast to prepare and so tender. Yes, it gets dry very quickly, but any good piece of meat needs some attention. So here's for you guys. Go make it yourself. It's really worth it. And see you in the next video. Bye! Oh my god.